Good evening, I'm John Dickerson. If you check the Justice Department's website, as we did today, you will find at the top of the mission statement the words, "to uphold the rule of law."
I'm Maurice Dubois, and on that same website, under the heading Our Values, you will see independence and impartiality.
But after yet another federal prosecutor resigned in protest today, is the department, under the influence of President Trump, living up to its mission or its values?
7 U.S. prosecutors have now quit rather than follow orders from Trump allies in the department to drop criminal charges against New York City's Mayor Eric Adams.
But the implications of this go far beyond the Adams case. They go to the integrity of the justice system throughout the country. We begin tonight with Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott?
A day of absolute turmoil inside the Department of Justice amid these concerns about efforts to dismiss the case against Mayor Adams, who pleaded not guilty to trading official government actions for gifts and travel. But the concerns are spreading into concerns that prosecutors in communities big and small could be on a short leash and under the president's thumb.
The aftershocks of the corruption case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams might be more powerful than the initial earthquake itself. A behind-the-scenes battle has unfolded inside the Department of Justice between the veteran prosecutors and the new Trump-aligned leaders. It surfaced yesterday and has escalated. Trump's one-time personal defense attorney, Emile Bove, who now helps run the Department of Justice, has one at a time ordered top prosecutors in Manhattan and Washington to intervene and dismiss the case against Adams, arguing in part the administration needs Adams to be freed from the case to help the president's immigration enforcement efforts in New York City. One after another, those prosecutors have quit in protest, including an assistant U.S. attorney in New York who not only refused to drop the charges against Adams, but in a letter announcing his resignation said, "I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me." Tom Dupree served in George W. Bush's Department of Justice.
What do you make of this back and forth, this mass resignation wave?
Well, it's reminiscent of the Nixon era, where you saw the president basically try to find someone who would carry out his orders in the Justice Department and had to go through several officials before he finally was able to find someone who would carry it out.
The president today denied any involvement.
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not involved in that.
Further fueling the controversy, Adams appeared side by side with Trump's border czar in media interviews today. After denying, his team offered a quid pro quo to work with Trump's team on immigration to get the case dropped. Some fear the Trump administration is sending a loud message to 93 federal prosecutors nationwide in communities big and small, from Seattle to St. Louis to Savannah to Scranton. Don't cross the president when you pick a case.
This feels like it's bigger than just Eric Adams.
This goes way beyond Adams. This goes really to the Justice Department as a whole. And make no mistake, in my view, the Deputy Attorney General was trying to send a message throughout the Justice Department that people need to follow the orders, and if they don't follow the orders, they need to leave the department.
And Scott, those 93 federal prosecutors around the country you mentioned, how are they reacting to all of this tonight?
Maurice, this commanded their attention all day. They watched, they exchanged text messages. This is all so disorienting for them. There are a couple hundred public corruption cases prosecuted in states across the country each year. Sheriffs, school administrators, mayors accused of misconduct. It's unclear if they have to check with the White House now before some of them prosecute the case in front of them.
Scott, how does this Adams business end from the Justice Department standpoint?
Just after the doors closed here tonight, John, they finally made the filing. A prosecutor here in Washington, along with Emile Bove, the number 3 at the Department of Justice, submitted the paperwork in court. A judge will have to allow this case to be dismissed, Maurice and John. There may be a hearing and hear some arguments before the judge agrees.
Scott MacFarlane at the Justice Department. Thank you, Scott.